Welcome to Suthichai Live English. Prime Minister Paetongtarn is scheduled to attend the Asean Summit in Vientiane between October 9th and 12th. It's her first international appearance, and it's a very important one because it's going to be the showcase for her and also to be able to convince the rest of ASEAN friends and dialogue partners that she can handle herself in an international conference. I'm asking Kun Termsak Chalerm Palanuphap at ISIS in Singapore to give us his analysis of what challenges lie ahead for Prime Minister Paetongtarn from Thailand. Hello, คุณเติมศักดิ์ครับ สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ
You are quite familiar with the ASEAN protocols, the ASEAN Summit in particular. What are some of the challenges that Prime Minister Paetongtarn will face, and what is your advice for her as someone who is very new to this kind of international summit?
Yes, I should like to point out that ASEAN Summit is a very low cost but high return opportunity for every Thai leader.
Really? Low cost, high return, huh?
Yes, because in one go, she will be able to meet, I think, more than 15 leaders.
Yeah.
Not only in ASEAN, but also from dialogue partners.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's a high return for her. And this may be her first external trip.
Yes.
Since she has not visited any country, right? But this will be her opportunity to meet all the ASEAN leaders and also leaders from Timor-Leste.
Yeah.
And then, but unfortunately, President Biden will not come.
No.
He will be represented by the Secretary of State.
Oh,
Blinken.
Blinken.
So also President Putin will miss it because he will send his foreign minister Lavrov again.
Okay. And China? Who is representing China?
China will be the new premier Li Qian, I think.
Chiang, yeah.
Yeah. ASEAN Summit, ASEAN-China Summit. The China will be represented by the premier. But in APEC, then the president of China will attend. So actually, this ASEAN Summit will be a good dress rehearsal for Prime Minister Thongtan to prepare for a bigger stage in APEC Leader Summit in Lima next month. That will be a bigger event because I think she can expect to meet President Joe Biden in the APEC in Lima, and maybe even Putin will show up.
And maybe Xi Jinping, who knows?
Yeah, Xi Jinping certainly. I think he never missed. He's a star attraction at the APEC Summit.
Well, if you say that, then if I were one of the advisors to Prime Minister Paetongtarn, I would be scared that the Prime Minister of Thailand will be meeting all these, big superpower leaders. And what kind of preparation would be needed for Ong Ing? It's not a simple task.
Well, actually, she will have a big team to help her prepare all the talking points.
Yeah.
And many of the talking points can be rewritten from her policy statement in Parliament.
All right.
So I think that will be easy. And then she just need to fine-tune some of the details in some of the meetings.
Yeah.
In particular, this year, Thailand is coordinating ASEAN ROK Summit.
ROK,
She will be the co-chair of the ASEAN ROK Summit with the President Yoon of South Korea.
Okay, so Thailand and South Korea. Thailand is the coordinator for ASEAN.
Yeah, and the event will be in the morning of the 9th of October. And the special thing is that this time, Republic of Korea will be promoted as a comprehensive strategic partner of ASEAN. So this is the highest level of formal relation with ASEAN. Already 5 others dialogue partners have attained this comprehensive strategic partnership status, starting with China, Japan, India, Australia, and USA. So ROK will be the 6th comprehensive strategic partner of ASEAN. So I think Prime Minister Paetongtarn can prepare something special to tell the President of South Korea.
But for someone who has very little experience in international affairs, reading text may be one solution. But of course, there will be occasions when she will have to, be face to face with some leaders who will be asking questions that she might find it difficult to respond in any impressive way.
Well, in ASEAN tradition, we don't discuss internal affairs of each other, national politics.
Okay.
But I think she should assume that everyone knows who she is and what is her background.
Right.
And that's why maybe she can find some time to call on some of the more senior ASEAN leaders. For example, Sultan of Brunei, Bulgaria.
Yes.
I think he has been in the leadership status for 40 years.
That's true.
I think he is the most senior ASEAN leader. Maybe Ms. Paetongtarn can find an opportunity to call on him.
And also, of course, I'm sure Kun Thaksin was quite familiar with the leader of Brunei.
Oh yeah, they know each other.
Very well, huh?
Yeah.
The Sultan Bulgaria.
Yeah. Well, since you mentioned Kun Thaksin, 20 years ago, Kun Thaksin was the prime minister, and he went to attend Asean Summit in Vientiane.
Yeah.
You may recall that he threatened to walk out if anyone asked him about Tak Bai and Kruse incidents.
Yeah. You remember that. We remember that. Yes.
Indonesian President SBY finally convinced Thaksin to discuss the situation in the Deep South in the IMTGT context. We have a side meeting. Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, growth triangle. And Thaksin agreed.
Yeah. In a private sort of smaller forum. So
it's a smaller forum involving President SBY of Indonesia and Malaysian Prime Minister Badawi. And so Thaksin had an escape not to stage a walk out.
Yeah, that was quite dramatic at that time. The geopolitics, will be a very important issue in the Asean Summit. From your viewpoint, where does Thailand stand, and how could Prime Minister Paetongtarn, present herself as someone who understands, basically, at least, where Thailand, ASEAN should be?
Well, I think it's very important for her to keep in mind that she represents Thailand as a country. And Thailand was one of the 5 founding members of ASEAN. Thailand is the second largest economy in the ASEAN region.
Sure.
So she speaks with position of strength. So she should show confidence in whatever she say. And already in her policy statement to the parliament, she mentioned that Thailand will promote non-conflict. Thailand wants to be an active promoter of peace and common prosperity. I think this is a good point to highlight whenever she can, especially in the East Asia Summit.
But geopolitics, you will see America, China, facing each other and making strong remarks. Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, they have their own positions. What do you think should Thailand's position be?
Well, I think Thailand can learn from Singapore.
Yeah.
Singapore will not take sides in the strategic rivalry between the two superpowers. But Singapore would always say that it will stay with principles.
The principle is important.
Yeah, take a principle position. I think this is something Thailand can do.
Yeah.
We need not take side, but we will stay with the principle. And the principle is peace and prosperity, non-conflict. I think this is a good standing point for us to keep.
Right. But then, we can say we are neutral, we don't take sides, but in fact, you cannot avoid being pressured by both sides to take sides.
Well, if we are forced to take a position, we say we take an ASEAN collective position.
Okay.
That is also a safe place to stay.
Well, as someone who had written a lot of prepared texts for ASEAN leaders, the narrative from Thailand would be what? We follow the international principles, the UN Charter. We are
for peace.
We are for peace.
We are for multilateralism, open trade.
Yeah.
We are for FTA arrangement.
Yeah.
And now we want to join OECD.
OECD, right.
And also BRICS.
No, can you mention BRICS in an ASEAN context? No.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Well, BRICS is also for multilateralism, so we support multilateralism in principle.
But that would not go down very well with the American delegation if we mention BRICS in this dialogue partner forum.
Well, engaging ASEAN or even ASEAN members, they do not foreclose pursuing their own individual strategy. The USA have its own Quad, for example. They just had a summit in Washington, D.C.
Right.
And India can be in the Quad and also in the BRICS. So there is no conflict there. So I think it's everyone's choice to maximize his own maneuvering room in the international community.
Yeah. You will notice that there are several new faces among the ASEAN countries in this summit.
Oh, we have Singapore new Prime Minister Lawrence Wong.
Yeah.
And who will be sitting actually next to Prime Minister Paetongtarn because Singapore is next to Thailand.
Okay, S&T, right? Singapore.
Yeah, S&T, and then Vietnam is the next.
Yeah. But you also have new faces like Prime Minister of Cambodia.
General Hun Manet.
Yeah.
And even President of Philippines is quite new.
Yeah.
Wong Marcos Jr.
Yeah. What about President of Indonesia, the new president? Is he going to make it? Has he sworn in?
I think he may have to attend because the new president will not be confirmed until 20th of October. I think that's too late for him. But I think he can go to the APEC leaders meeting in Peru.
November.
Yeah.
So you will see what, Jokowi,
I think.
But among the new faces, Lawrence Wong, Hun Manet, Marcos Jr., and Paetongtarn, that's an interesting, sort of a new generation of leaders.
Yes. I think this is why it's very important to get to know one another as quickly as possible in ASEAN, so that there will be some kind of cohesion to promote or to defend our ASEAN centrality.
Right.
learning to speak with one voice, I think that's very important, and support the chairs.
But you know very well that ASEAN members are split. Some are more pro-Chinese, some are more pro-American. How do you see that?
That is the national choice. It will not, ASEAN membership will not preclude national strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very diplomatic way of saying it, but in actual practice, there will be times when you need to be able to coordinate a common ASEAN stand on issues that could be quite divisive.
Yes, there are some, certainly in the South China Sea, it's always happened.
How important is the factor of Thaksin for Prime Minister Paetongtarn? How could she make the best use of her father's connections with all these leaders without appearing to be just a daughter of Thaksin and not the real leader of Thailand?
Well, actually, Kun Thaksin can even accompany the Prime Minister.
But you think that will happen? That would be
Yeah, it can happen. It's not unlawful for him to travel overseas now.
No, but diplomatically, how would that look for Paetongtarn? Oh, the father is introducing her to.
Just like Somdet Hun Sen might be in the Cambodian delegation.
Well, why not? You see, that would be quite a scene where Thaksin and Hun Sen will be appearing at the.
General Prabowo, the incoming new president of Indonesia, he might join President Jokowi delegation just to introduce himself. I think that's a very convenient way to get to know ASEAN leaders.
That would be something. That would be really something. That is a very Asian way, right? A very ASEAN way. That the senior people will accompany the new generation so you can get to know one another, because we, the old generation, have established our own network. Now, passed it on to the new generation.
Yeah. Well, it's some form of continuity. But if you look at it in a negative way, you will call it nepotism.
That's right. That's right. Nepotism or dynastic politics, you see. But what do you see as the general challenges for this particular ASEAN summit at this particular time?
Well, the world attention is not on ASEAN anymore.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, very quiet. ASEAN is not making news at the world stage. And we still have old problem that we cannot settle. South China Sea, Myanmar problem. That is still concerns, but no solutions. What we can do is just to reassure the world, the international community, that ASEAN is here to stay. And we will continue to work harder. Next year, we can expect Malaysia chairman of ASEAN will be hardworking. Well, Malaysia is one of the 5 original founders of ASEAN. So Malaysian chairmanship will revitalize ASEAN, I hope.
But the American election, is just 40 days away. How would the outcome of the U.S. presidential election, you think, affect ASEAN and the region?
Well, it will not change much because the U.S. has paid a very little attention to ASEAN to start with.
Not even Joe Biden? You don't think he was interested enough in ASEAN?
No, too far away from him.
But Kamala Harris, if she was elected...
Yeah, she was here last ASEAN Summit. But then she did not make any real impact.
No, no.
And
Well,
now this time, I think they are sending Secretary of State Blinken. So he will not be making any big statements here.
no, no. Blinken himself would be, not too effective because he too would be looking at the election results.
Yeah.
But if Trump wins the election, that will even be worse for ASEAN, right?
Yeah, certainly it's worse for multilateralism worldwide.
Now, all the new faces in ASEAN and the challenges facing ASEAN, do you see the new leaders, or the new prime ministers, new president in ASEAN, shaking things up? Do you see a new sort of new revitalization of ASEAN?
Very little hope in that aspect. But for Thailand, I think we can learn to make better, more use of ASEAN. Since ASEAN pays a lot of attention to connectivity, even in the theme of Lao Chairmanship this year, it includes connectivity and resilience. I think our Prime Minister can sell Thailand as the logistic hub, as the aviation hub, transportation hub in the heartland of Southeast Asia. I think that's something that we can highlight and then to attract investment in foreign investment into our mega projects.
Prime Minister Lawrence Wong of Singapore, how has he impressed the general public about his stand on ASEAN? Will be more active?
Well, usually Singapore has been very active in ASEAN. Singapore knows how to make use of ASEAN.
Yeah.
And this is something Thai leaders need to know. Most of our Thai politicians pay very little attention to ASEAN.
Right.
But actually, Thailand can make a lot of use of ASEAN if we have better preparation.
Such as? Cite some examples.
If we want to sell an idea, I think in ASEAN, we need to have allies. Just like Singapore used to sell ideas about APEC Secretariat or sell the idea of ASEM. It has Thailand as an ally to sell the ASEM idea, Asia-Europe meeting. But Thailand, to start with, we need to strengthen our informal alliance with Singapore. I think we share common interest in strengthening ASEAN.
Of course, if Malaysia chairs ASEAN next year, we can see.
Certainly Malaysia. We are quite close to Malaysia. Prime Minister Anwar knows Thailand very well.
Very well, yes, yes. Especially the southern issues. So you don't expect anything dramatic from the ASEAN Summit in Vientiane next month?
No, not really, because Laos itself is not very prepared to do anything new. And we just lump to ASEAN Summit, the 44th and 45th together into one event, just to economize on resources. Normally, the ASEAN Charter call for two separate ASEAN meeting in 1 year.
Well, Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, even Cambodia, Vietnam are facing these huge natural disasters, floods. But I don't see an ASEAN sort of joint effort, despite the fact that you have this AHA Center in Thailand, right? What can ASEAN do in such circumstances where you have common natural disaster issues, but I haven't seen so far common ASEAN.
Well, maybe this year the flooding problem is not a big crisis, unlike Cyclone Nargis in the past. That
Oh, right.
yeah, that was a bigger crisis. But this time it may be seen as just normal, natural flooding after some too much rain.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe Prime Minister Paetongtarn herself can make some special effort to provide Thai assistance to Laos
Yep.
as a good gesture, as a neighbor. Maybe she can raise some public donation to help Laos cope with the flooding problem.
But this ASEAN AHA Center has not been too effective, although it's
We
based.
didn't hear anything so far.
No.
Also, it depends on member state whether they ask for help or not. But so far, we didn't see any request for assistance from ASEAN.
Well, I saw stories in the official media of Myanmar that Min Aung Hlaing has asked for foreign assistance, but he didn't mention ASEAN in particular. He was just saying we may need international aid.
Well, it depends also on Myanmar government to facilitate humanitarian assistance. I think it's part of the 5-point consensus that ASEAN is willing to provide humanitarian assistance, but there must be facilitation from the Myanmar government side also.
Yes. But this time, although you said that it's not as serious as Nagris in 2008, but it's quite extensive. The damage is quite extensive. Myanmar, Laos, Thailand,
even Vietnam also.
Vietnam. There are also issues of common border on the river between Myanmar and Thailand. The fact that the flood was very bad, it was because you could not coordinate the Myanmar side and the Thai side. The rising water level in Mekong River as well. So there are several issues that need to be addressed.
Yes, I think certainly. Well, we have ACMEC.
ACMEC, yes.
That is another forum that can make better use of in how to control flooding.
Yeah. And
how to share information.
Right. And China is also related to this issue, the dams, the water level, Mekong countries. So it's not only geopolitics, it is natural disasters, it's the common destiny of the countries now all facing climate change issues.
Yeah, well, this is also mentioned in the Ms. Paetongtarn policy statement to Parliament. We want to do something about climate change and also the problem of narcotics.
Narcotics.
Problem of call center. Human trafficking. Maybe she can ask for a bilateral meeting with the Chinese premier. That's why I mentioned this is a low-cost, high-return opportunity. She can have bilateral meetings with quite a few key leaders that will be coming to Vientiane, including Indian Prime Minister Modi. I think he is also a very senior world leader that maybe Ms. Paetongtarn can get to know and learn from him.
Right. It's also important that the foreign minister is, by her side, offering instant advice and reaction.
Yeah, in the ASEAN Summit, normally when we meet dialogue partner, at least there'll be plus six officials will be by her side, so don't worry. They can always send her immediate talking point, new talking point for her. Even in the retreat, there'll be +3. So there'll be assistant to help her. So don't worry. Just be prepared to present consistent message that she think will be most useful, most relevant in each of the session that she attend.
Do you have
And one of the challenge is to stay interested in what is going on. There are so many meetings, and sometimes it's very boring to listen to a lot of speech, a lot of reading of talking points from other leaders.
You cannot get bored because
Just must be appear to be interested all the time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there'll be pictures.
You have a dozing off, right? Half sleeping.
Yeah. Or playing on her handphone, that should be avoided.
Should be avoided at all costs. What advice on books that she should read, documents she should consult before she attends the ASEAN Summit?
Well, one of the publication from ISEAS is the annual survey of the state of Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Maybe her support team can download the outcome of the survey, and then she will get to know what are the thinking of all the 10 countries in ASEAN about our geopolitics in general.
Yeah. Staff can download the ISEAS
State of Southeast Asia 2024 report.
When was it released?
Oh, a few months ago already. It's online.
It's still online. Yes.
Yeah. And one interesting point in the survey this year is that if we are forced to choose hypothetically between US and China, a majority of 50.5% will choose to side with China, including Thailand.
Really? 54.5%?
Yeah.
That's
For the first time, a narrow majority in ASEAN will side with China.
Wow. 50.5 is very tricky, huh? It's somewhere right.
I think the new shift is in Brunei, very strong shift to China.
Yeah. That's interesting. So we will urge the Prime Minister to...
Yeah, that will be a good reference. Because whenever we meet a leader, for example, the USA, we seem to have concern that the USA is not reliable anymore.
Yeah. So that's a good way to start for Prime Minister Paetongtarn. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much, Kun Termsak. We will see what happens in Vientiane.
Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. สวัสดีครับ
1.3 ล้านแล้วครับ Subscribers ผู้ติดตามสุทธิชัยไลฟ์ใน YouTube ขอบคุณทุกท่านช่วยกันแชร์ เพื่อเราจะได้เป็นชุมชนคนรักข่าวด้วยกัน และขอบคุณทุกท่านที่กด Super Chat Super Sticker ให้กำลังใจกับทีมงาน จะได้อยู่กันยาวๆยั่งยืน คนบ้าข่าวด้วยกันต้องเกาะ